Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another week of hijinks and laughter here on the Blair Matthes Project. Thank you to Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech for making this show happen. Great companies. Of course, both Southern California aftermarket powerhouse companies that have been in the sport for a long time. TroyLeeDesigns.com. Check out the full range of products and gear for your next ride with confidence. Troy Lee Designs, where performance meets style. They got moto gear. They got mountain bike gear. They got high-quality helmets, apparel, and all of that. Bam Bam Barsha wearing Troy Lee Designs. And if you want a code to save with TLD, email us using the contact form on Pulp MX, and we will get you a code to save direct from Troy Lee website. Thank you, Troy, and everyone else down there. And Race Tech as well, racetech.com. Privateer proven over the years. They do a lot of work, motor work, suspension work for a lot of riders over the years, from Doug Dubach to Malcolm Stewart to some privateer and factory teams right now that they can't tell you about because they have an NDA for their motor work signed. But racetech.com, get your bike dialed in for your right weight and or speed. Racetech.com. I'm telling you, listen to Matthes and Blair Matthes Project, and you can save with that. So thank you to those guys for making this happen. Zools, bags, seat concepts, firepower, Maxxis, ASV levers, decal works, Alpine Stars, all on board with us. We'll tell you about them later on, but it's another week of talking to my buddy, Daniel Blair. What's up, DB? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I have to imagine the track crew is stressing. I'm looking at a 95% chance of rain Thursday, 85% Friday, and 65% on Saturday as of right this second, Steven. So, yeah.
It's going to be another Seattle like we're used to. I mean, who knows if it rains or not, whatever. But no matter what, press day will be canceled. We're probably looking at a shorter program, a daytime program, cut one set of practices out, all of the old traditional things that we go through. Interesting, on Monday night, we had the resident grump of motocross, Phil Nicoletti, on, and he was talking about Seattle last year, and he just said, and he's right, by the way, he said he'd rather just have it pour down mud slop than what it was last year, where it wasn't raining, but it was soft, and the ruts were 6 feet deep, and you were taking your life in your hands each and every time. So we could see some huge variance this weekend in Seattle, and or we could see more of the same.
Yeah, I think if you're Cooper Webb, you're like, bring it on, I'm good in mud. And if you're Chase Sexton, you're like, bring it on, I'm good in mud. So there's that. And then 250 class, if you're Deegan, you're probably like, I mean, I don't really know his mud background. I don't nothing pops off the top of my head right now, but you're probably like, whatever, because I think he's pretty locked in as far as where he sits in the class right now. At least he's locked in there. we could get to that. But yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be. In Seattle, you roll the dice no matter what every year. And there's been some amazing ones. I've raced some Seattles where it's like, dude, what a rad race and a rad track. And then I've raced a muddy one there. And I'm with Grumpy Phil. When it's not all the way muddy, it's sticky and it's glue and it's just, but when it's actually just a monsoon, you kind of just like accept it. Your attitude changes and then you're like, whatever. And that attitude usually leads to a better time. So I hope you all have a good attitude going in, because it looks like either way, you're going to be not riding on a normal supercross track this Saturday, all you supercrossers.
I would just hate it, Daniel, as a racer, because again, as Phil was sort of elaborating on, and as you know, having raced it, like, you come around a rhythm and so you go 2, 2, 3 or whatever a good rhythm is, and that this line on the left is good, and you hit it every rut, the rut on the left is good, and you hit it every lap, and then oops, 8 laps in, the rut has fallen away, or it has gone bottomed out, and you are going for a ride to Indonesia, and you didn't do anything wrong, and you had no idea that the line had changed, but that is what happens at these rut races.
Yeah. Hey, how about an AP win? That'd be cool. Let's get him his second win. Malcolm's good in the mud too. Let's get him his second win. And AP told me once, I asked him, what's the key to riding mud? Why are you so good in mud? And he just giggled, I don't know. And then he said, well, you gotta like it, I guess. And he's dead on. Like, if you actually go out there with a woo-hoo attitude, you do pretty good at it. And if you go out there with this sucks attitude, there's no chance of doing well. So I think it really comes down to attitude check this weekend, and the rider who loves it the most maybe does the best. But what do you think? An AP win? I could get on board for a second AP win of his 450 career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year the track was, as we talked about, just brutal, and guys like Sexton, Webb, and Jet just shined, right? Because their
Yeah.
technical skills on the bike. And so, as bad as it was, they could just figure that out because they're just so damn talented. So what we'll need to see, I think if it's that way again, we'll see a repeat of the cream rising to the top. But if we get a rain pouring, puddles, all of that, then yes, AP Malcolm could be in the mix. I do find it interesting. I've railed on the track guys for a number of years about, look, man, the weather's coming. Why did you build a finish line, so that no one can jump it? Because not only that, but if they ride down the takeoff, they'll die. Like, we all know this is coming. So tame down the track and make it just, moguls and doubles and rounded things. And maybe we get a good old, like, if anybody watches some early 80s supercross, that's kind of what it was. It wasn't supercross then when Barnett and Howerton won their titles. It was motocross in a stadium. So just do that again. And they did try it. They told me they tried it. They got rid of whoops, right, and put waves in, which I think were better. So I don't know if they're doing that again this weekend. I haven't talked to the Dirt Jerks guys, but I'm fully for that. Like, embrace it and adjust the track.
I do find it ironic that I am seeing in some of the videos that there's a Dragon's back that has made its way onto the track. And it's like, okay, now I've been pretty vocal about wanting one of those things, and now you're going to give us one when they can't go off it. So, yeah. Thanks for building one this week, guys. Why don't we try again next week and build a real one with some regular weather? But anyways, no, it's Supercross, so it is what it is. And you're back, right? Your vacation's over. Nice.
Yeah, live show this Friday. We'll see you there. Yeah. Daniel's been part of these things. They're a lot of fun. Tickets are available on pulpmx.com. So live show on Friday in Renton, Washington. Really cool place. We've done it there before. Good crowd. And then also we have a Monday night Pulp MX show from Pro Circuit. Mitch is letting us use the showroom, and we're setting up in the showroom. We got a whole cornucopia of real fast people dropping by to hang out. So looking forward to that.
Wow, that's like a COVID show kind of, right? Little offsite, little change up. Is there a crowd? Is there crowd people coming in?
Yeah, we're gonna let some people in. We're not selling tickets, so it's first come first serve. We're gonna let some people come in and hang out. So that should be really fun. Looking forward to that. So keep that in mind. Daniel, I knew you would love. I doubt you listened to the Pulp Show on Monday yet, but my rant. I knew you would love it. The broadcast, and I don't even care. Daniel.
Let's hear it.
In Glendale, Drew Adams broke his collarbone in practice, but he had qualified top 18 for the Triple Crown. And then we didn't know what was going on. It was 19 out of qualifyings or 5 out of the LCQs, right? Because Drew Adams obviously wasn't racing.
Yep.
So it turns out it was 5 out of the LCQ. So we didn't really know that, and nobody knew that, and I kind of cut him a pass on that because it was a little unclear on how we do that. Well, a month and a half later, we have the same situation. Max Anstey breaks his leg. Poor Max, by the way. And Daniel, the AMA doesn't tell Bondo. Bondo doesn't tell the announcers. The announcers don't remember from Phoenix, although it wasn't Lee, it was Rick, it was Weege, but Ricky doesn't remember. Bondo doesn't say anything. And we got just chaos because they're just talking like 4th gets in. And it was 5th. Crockett Myers got in. He was 5th. And I just don't know how this stuff happens. I got him a pass for Glendale. I get it. But Jesus, Daniel.
I'll have to go back and listen and fire up some popcorn for that. I look forward to hearing what you had to say. But it's attention to details. That's all. There's certain details that really matter, and there's certain ones that maybe don't matter as much, but that would be one that does, because somebody is getting in now that wasn't. Crockett Myers he's a good kid. He's a young kid. Hasn't made a lot of main events. So for him, it's a pretty big deal. So that's all I can add about hearing what you said, but it's attention to details by everybody on something that matters for the fans. They want to know, especially, I feel like sometimes the privateer guys get overlooked and their whole situation gets overlooked, whether it be an LCQ or other things. And, there's attention outside of the top 5 that matter. And that's all I can say is that it's attention to detail and really, really caring about those details. And I'll leave it at that.
It could have been a perfect chance too. Like maybe 6th was on Myers in the LCQ. So now you just move the camera back and we talk about this great battle for 5th, but they never focused on that. They never talked about that because 4th had a big lead on 5th and whatever. And to happen like a month and a half ago and still not I just can't believe it. That's a
Okay.
rough look.
And I'll say that that's where it's rough, because the first time I could get it, like when the red cross flag restart thing happened this year with Max, and there, I mean, that was new. I didn't know that had happened. That was an attention to detail that I'd be like, oh, well, I didn't know that. So I guess on the first go around, you would be like a little bit more forgiving, which sounds like you were. But when it happens at the next, well, not the next, but happens again at a Triple Crown,
Yeah.
same scenario, then you're you can't do it again.
And it's not like, no offense to Lorenzo or Crucio, but it's not like, say, Lorenzo tweaked an ankle and couldn't line up in the top 18. This was the second place guy with a broken leg. Like, he ain't making it. And so what's going to happen to his spot, So anyways, it's just a race tech rant that I had back then. By the way, thank you to Firepower, firepowerparts.com. Chains, batteries, they got sprockets, they got loading ramps as well, which Daniel knows all about, and they got good stands, firepowerparts.com for more information. Check those guys out. They got a lot of cool parts coming out, hard parts for things and bikes and all of that, gas cans, tie downs, all the things I just mentioned above, firepowerparts.com. And thank you to Maxxis Tires as well, Fast Freddy Noren, Hunter Yoder, Kay Clayson's coming back soon. We got some guys, fast guys, using Maxxis Tires in main events, getting inside the top 10 like Yoder, and Maxxis.com for more information. Jeremy McGrath, some guy named McGrath, I don't know if you knew who that was, but he used to race. He developed these tires, and also great mountain bike tires, as we know, Daniel. Speaking of tires, we had Deegs squealing his donuts, doing donuts with his tires.
Nice segue. That was good.
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. That's I'm one step below Wygant, but I'm coming on. Got arrested. The news broke on Saturday, right? If you're a bed bug, yeah, it was fine. It was cool. It was rad. And if you're not a bed bug, you're like, he should be suspended for a race. Blah blah blah. Truthfully, it's in the middle. It's never good to get arrested.
Dead center.
Right. It's never good to get arrested, but it's also not that big of a deal. Apparently, he was doing donuts, and he had a fake ID on him and all of this. But Daniel, not so much what he was doing, but you did want to bring up the ramifications of this.
Yeah, there's none, and so much none. I guess that
there's none.
Yeah, I guess that would be my bigger gripe with the broadcast, and I don't know if it was directed to not say anything about it, but I'm sorry, he is one of the biggest superstars in the sport. I know he wasn't racing, but like, you have to mention that. That has to be mentioned. I mean, he's a superstar in the sport, and he got arrested the night before. And to me, the funny part is like Bobby Reagan's night. I mean, think about the 24 hours this dude has. First, he finds out that his points leader on the West gets arrested. Probably at first he's what, but doesn't know why. He's on a family vacation of all things. Haiden is like, he's with mom and dad, but somehow he gets arrested. And then Max Anstey goes out, and he's probably like, oh my God, there's my East Coast guy. But then he gets the Nate Thrasher win. So Bobby's on this like high, low, like unbelievable 24-hour whatever. But I just I would like to know, were you not allowed to talk about it? Was it something that we're like, hey, let's avoid that? Because it should have been brought up at a minimum. I mean, it's news. And in any other sport, it would have been very big news that one of your superstars got arrested, even if you got arrested for stealing a candy bar or jaywalking, whatever. It's the law. You need to know about it. So the only ramifications that I would say were needed was an explanation, at least at a minimum, that it happened. That's my first point. The second point would be, in other sports, in football and basketball, baseball, man, they really, really come down on anything like that. It's a character. It's like the league's character. They really don't want these things happening. So although in other sports, I think the dudes are a little bit gnarlier than our guys, they get in bigger trouble, they do worse things. But yeah, no ramifications in our sport. I don't know if it needs to be. I'm curious your thoughts on that, if there needs to be something, but at least for me, at a minimum, it needs to be recognized that day. It's breaking news. I mean, he had his own mugshot on his Instagram page. That should have been on the screen of either RDL, the broadcast, or both. I mean, he wasn't running from it. He posted it up. I mean, mugshot, dude. I mean, it should have been on screen. It's news. He's a superstar. So that to me is the minimum. But what do you think? Did that need to happen? Does it matter? Do you think maybe there needs to be more? Because as little of a deal as you and I probably think it is on the big world or in the big picture here, it still happened, and it is the law, and it is a legal thing. So that's, I guess, where I'm at with that.
Well, no, I'm not with you, because he wasn't racing. Now, it should be mentioned this weekend. He's racing this weekend. He'll be there. I think the guys will talk about it. because he's in the race. So I like, could it have been mentioned last weekend? Yes, absolutely. Like, I wouldn't have said, oh, you shouldn't have mentioned it, but he wasn't even racing. He wasn't there. So I'm totally fine to give him a pass. And I hope it will be mentioned this Saturday. I think it will be. And they'll go on with, the proper way of talking about it and go on from there.
Will they ask him? Will they ask him and interview him and ask him, hey, what was it like behind bars? It's your first time behind bars. How was it? Like, did you make a friend in there? Like, what happened? I would love for Haley to say, hey, well, I got you. Explain how it went in bar. Like, did they fit you for that jumpsuit? Did you try multiples? Like, did they have a size choice? Like, what was it like? Just share it with us. And based on his actions post arrest, he probably tells you. To me, it'd be a somewhat funny story, and they should do more than just mention it.
Let's bring in Kellen Brower, our producer here, to break this tie. Daniel says it should have been mentioned in Birmingham. I said it doesn't matter. Kellen, where do you stand?
I think that they should have just at least said it happened. Like, I don't think you need a deep dive or like have a roundtable discussion about it, but just be like, for those of you watching at home, next week Haiden Deegan's going to be racing, but here's what happened today, kind of thing.
Okay.
and put the mugshot up. This was last night at 1:24 a.m. on family vacation.
Yeah, because to his point, it's a huge deal. I don't know, like it's our sport is so small that when something like this happens, I feel like you can't run and hide from it.
It was in the Daily Mail. I mean,
if they don't mention it this weekend, then a pox on everyone's houses for sure, because they have to mention it this weekend with Deegan racing. That would be pathetic if you didn't. And yeah, Daniel, as far as other sports, you and I follow, all sorts of stick and ball sports heavily. And I don't think an arrest for, reckless driving or whatever it was, would get you suspended a game in NHL or NFL, but it would definitely put you on a list of like, hey, you have one strike. And even Deegan personally, like in his life, like now if he gets pulled over doing excessive speeding again, or just let's say for the first time he gets pulled over for excessive speeding, well, now he's got another arrest on his thing and it piles on, and that's how, eventually things go bad. So Haiden definitely has to watch his P's and Q's for a little bit. But look, am I just too old? Maybe I'm a loser. You're selling merch? You're selling merch. Yeah? That's what you're doing? You're stoked on this? Like, am I just too old? Am I just like, I don't get it? I'm just too stupid?
Well, I'd like to see the profit loss from this month, because if the profits are high, then yeah, you're off. If it doesn't sell, then yeah, you're probably right. But no, I found that to be pretty funny. And I mean, he had a drop planned today at 11. I mean, it was, that's pretty funny. I will give you credit though. Shout out to you. Your tweet was maybe one of the better tweets covering this. I even recognized that on my show Overreaction this week, Steve. You had the best take, which is, hey man, it's not like he's, on drugs biting his buddy's ear off. And I thought that was one of the better takes on this ordeal, because he was spinning donuts in a parking lot, which to me, again, I'm not saying condoning it, and all you kids out there should just be like okay with that. But at the same time, it's I know it's a little fast and furious, but it's not that big of a deal. He didn't bite his buddy's ear off.
Yeah, because people were comparing him to J-Law, like settle down here. J-Law actually did jail time, and J-Law had warrants, and J-Law had a lot of problems going on. So let's not
different.
But also, whatever he did, he got arrested, like handcuffs in jail. Like so getting arrested is not good. You cannot frame it anyway, possibly as a good thing. And I don't think you should be selling merch. But you know what? In today's Kardashian era that we live in, this is cool. And I'm showing my age, I suppose, but my parents would whoop my ass if I got arrested. And I would be kind of like, shit, look at that photo. But yep, I'm old and cranky.
He was on family vacation. He was at the beach with his family, and broke away for a couple hours and said, hey, I'm going down to the Dollar General. I'll be right back. And then didn't come back. There's so many layers of funny to this. I'd like to know all the details. That's why I'm saying, Haley, if you're listening, ask him some details. I want to know how it went. Like, I want to know what he made a friend. I want to know if he made a friend in there. That's all.
So something about Triple Crowns this week here on the TLD Race Tech Blair Matthes project. And this did come up, Daniel. It's something you want to talk about today on this show, but it did come up on our show as well. Obviously, Chase talked about laying up behind Coop in that third one and not doing what he did before. And that's where we all just started like nodding, like, yes, Chase, exactly. Don't do what you did before. And And we've seen these dudes lay up for sure when they know they got the overall. I would not be opposed, and we brought this up on Monday, I would not be opposed to adding 3 points or 5 points to a win in a Triple Crown. So you have the potential. Let's say it's 3 points. You have a potential instead of making 3 points on second place, you have the potential for making 6 points on second place. And if you just want to make the points for winning the third one only, I'm fine with that also. It'll prevent the laying up in the third Triple Crown race. I'm fine with that, Daniel, if we did that, for sure.
Yeah, I'll say right now, this isn't like a big deal where I'm like, this has got to be changed and fixed, which I'm sure you and I have a list of things that probably would be higher priority and needing to be fixed. This isn't one of them. But at the same time, Chase did the right thing, and that was bad for us. I mean, let's be honest. Arlington was really bad for him and great for us. He didn't want to let up. He wanted to get Cooper. He wanted to put a hurting on him, and we got some serious entertainment late in the show. This week, he did exactly what was right. I even said on my show, it was his biggest win of the night, was the one he didn't win, because he made the right decision, got the points, and corrected a wrong. Good for him, but it did suck the life out of the ending for us, because I would have liked to seen him fight back Webb and have to, and maybe not have to. Maybe he doesn't do it. Maybe he decides I'll just take what I got. But you're right. If there's a dangling carrot out there that says, hey, man, if I do get him, though, I am 13 down or 15 down, and if I get him here, maybe I should reevaluate this. Maybe it's worth it. There would be something to that, because we're not going to always get the 250 class where RJ could have cruised his on in too, but he blew it. I mean, he blew it on the start and then had to fight his way back and still lost the overall by not getting up far enough. That was how it's supposed to work out if it works out perfect, but we didn't get that in the 450. So I don't know the exact solution. I don't hate what you just said. Some kind of a bonus for winning the third one, and maybe Coop gets a bonus for winning the third one, an extra point or so. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
just whoever
something.
wins the third one gets 3 extra points or whatever. Yeah.
And then you're Cooper Webb and you're like, oh, I didn't lose that many points. I only lost this many because I stuck it to him in the last one. So I mean, yeah, I think it could be revisited. I mean, they've been pretty adjustable in the past on some things, and maybe this one needs to be sat down and looked at, because what could have been an amazing race 3, it set up exactly what we would want. We didn't get it because Chase got smart, and that kind of just, again, it made the whole night kind of feel like, all right, well, it's a good night. Okay, later. And I want more than that at the end. That's the one argument. That's the one argument I get on board with. The people that are like, Triple Crown suck because 20-minute or the main event when it's a 20 is this and that. What? They're right. That you want that race at the end to matter, and this is the one fault for me in a Triple Crown as a fan, is when the third one doesn't, and that happens more than we think. So yeah.
No, it really does. And it's funny because you'll see a guy fall in the first Triple Crown like Coop or like Hammaker or whatever, and you're like, oh, their whole night is screwed. They only got a 10th. Well, generally because of the inconsistencies, if you go 10-1-1, like Seth only ended up 4th overall, but generally a 10-1-1 can get you 2nd overall sometimes in these things, like it's not out of hand. And so the Triple Crowns do vary wildly. And so it really doesn't mean a lot until that last one.
How about Seth getting an extra 3 there on the end too for his? I mean, Thrasher won the thing without winning a race. Chase won Glendale without winning a race. And so, maybe that could have helped the 250 points too. I mean, Hammaker could deserve, he got 4th. He was great all night. One washout cost him maybe a sweep. I think he could have swept it. But you're right. If he had, at least he could hang his hat on, well, I did get the third one, so I did get those 3 extra. So, maybe that is a solution dead on, but I am definitely more for it than against it, for sure.
All right. Speaking of the guy who won, Nate Thrasher, it's a very weird Racer X vault for Nate Thrasher. Yeah. This is his 5th year in a row with a win. He won 2 his rookie year. He's got almost double the amount of 250 supercross starts than motocross starts, which is hard to do when you think about how there's 12 motocross nationals for years, and now there's 11, and there's only 6 or 7, say 250 supercrosses, but he's got almost double supercrosses. He's not a great interview. I don't
unless you're in NASCAR. He's a great NASCAR interview. He would fit. He screams NASCAR driver to me, but okay, go ahead. Okay. I just want to point that out.
I don't know if anybody is a Nate Thrasher fan per se. He really flies under the radar. Seems like a nice kid. And again, he's won one Supercross 5 years in a row. And he's, never really in the points. Like, I guess he's good. I don't know. Like, I don't know where I stand on Nate Thrasher. Like, his career best outdoor was a 5th at Ironman 1 year. I looked it up. And then other than that, he doesn't have many top 10 in motocrosses. He doesn't race that much in motocross. And he just wins a race a year. Like, I guess in this day and age, that's $300K a year. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for coming out. Here's $300K.
Yeah, and let's talk more confusion. He's, again, kind of a mellow, chill guy, not a pretty flat line, whatever, yet his last name is Thrasher, which may be one of the cooler names in the history of all dirt bike racing. So there's that confusion.
Yes, I wish I was named Steve Thrasher. That'd be rad.
Yeah, Daniel Thrasher would be sick. I might have to look into legal change. Actually, you want to know something funny? I'll tell you a funny joke, Steve. You know what? Blair is not actually, it is my real last name, but my actual family real last name is Prezina. My great grandpa actually went down and legally had his name changed back in like the early 1900s. So I could do it again. I could go from Blair to Thrasher.
With a K?
Prezina. It's Polish, actually. Prezina, okay. Yeah. So I have some family background there, and the male lineage up. My great grandpa's last name was Prezina. He took his wife's maiden name for business reasons. So technically, I am a Blair, but I should be a Prezina. How do I look like a Daniel Prezina to you? Do I? I don't think so.
No, you look like a Daniel Blair. Daniel Blair is a cool name. Yeah.
I'm down with it, but Thrasher, man.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Kellen, let's ask Kellen. Kellen, have you? We know you're a weirdo Max Volan fan, so maybe this applies to you. I don't know. Do you know Nate? Have you interviewed Nate much? And what is your thoughts on Nate?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm close with Nate, but I've interviewed him a lot. I really like his mechanic. His mechanic's a really good guy. I think
his mechanic's a pulp show guy. Yeah, his mechanic likes the pulp show.
Yeah. No, I think Nate's to me, he's just like a 5 across the board. Like, doesn't give you a lot of flair, but doesn't also, I don't know, like when he does an interview, he's actually kind of good and insightful at times, which is good too. But it's not like all the time. And sometimes his interviews are dull. So it's like you just go in and you expect to have a 5 interview, 5 interaction, and turn around and turn the microphone off.
And 5 Supercross wins.
5 Supercross wins, yeah.
Hey, and here's the thing. He doesn't scream Supercross guy. He didn't grow up like an indoor-only guy. I'm pretty sure he learned it like when he turned pro. And to have that kind of an indoor resume and no outdoor resume when he's a Loretta Lynn's killer. He's done some damage there on mini. Yeah, Steve, I think we've tapped into probably the weirdest racing career ever, maybe.
I think he's the 3rd best rider from Tennessee ever. He's got that going on. Mike Brown, then Nate Dogg, and then Thrasher probably would be the 3rd best guy and A-Ray would be 4? Or Drew Adams? Is Drew Adams Tennessee? I think Drew Adams is Tennessee.
Maybe
I don't know if Drew's past A-Ray yet, but anyways, yeah, so he's the 3rd best guy from Tennessee. Congrats, Nate, on that. I don't know, man. Yeah, like Nate Thrasher is just an enigma. I've gone by the truck to talk to him, and I've never seen him. I don't see him on track walk. I don't see him around. I don't know. I've had him on the Pulp Show once, and I don't remember the interview. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was bad.
It was a 5.
It was a 5, yeah, like Kellen said. So I don't know. Like, congrats, Nate. You got your ride again, and giddy up. We'll see you in the winner's circle in 26 somewhere.
Yeah, you book him for a win next year. Wow. I do know that I know that they believe in him enough to fight for him, because in the offseason, I believe he had some PC Cowie interest, and maybe even maybe it got to an offer. I think it did. And
okay.
Yeah, and I think Star said no way. So they're definitely believing him enough to keep him. And I guess when you win once a year, it's worth it for the. Any win is big, right? Think about it, Steve. How long it took like Cowie to get their win, and for Star, again, they do win a lot. I don't think they win the championships they'd like, but they win a lot of races, and he wins them a race a year. So at the same time, he's valuable to all them and their brand and their sponsors and everybody. So there's value in that. But you're right. Maybe the weirdest resume, at least in the modern era of this sport, for sure.
Thank you to Alpine Stars for coming on board the TLD Race Tech Blair Matthes project. Alpine Stars protects, the gear, right? Obviously, but they also make protection gear, knee cups, elbow guards, the A1 chest protector. They make full front, back, and shoulder protection as well for underneath the jersey, over top of the jersey. They got their neck brace, obviously, that they came out with years ago. Alpine Stars protects front to toe. Front to toe? Yeah, front to toe. Let's go that. Front to toe. They've got you covered. Alpine Stars protects, and thank you to those guys for coming on board. The Tech Air thing is really cool. Faulkner's back wearing it now, I heard, this past weekend. I'm going to get one of these to try as well. The Tech Air by Alpine Stars screams vet saving, like saving lives of vets everywhere. Plumbers and carpenters and everything else. Put the Tech Air on, and then you can go to work on Monday. And thank you again to the folks at Zool's Bags, whether it's Trey Kennard, whether it's Triumph guys, Zach Osborne, Travis Pastrana. They all choose Zool's for their travel and equipment organization needs. Zool'sBagCo.com, Pulp25 code to save on your next order. They got you covered with backpacks. You can see one right behind Daniel there. They got roller travel bags, gear bags, and more. And Triumph guys use East Phoenix Racing as well. Zool's Bagco, ZULZ, bagco.com. They got one that's big enough to fit Daniel Blair in it. Shorter statured gentleman. It's a huge bag. I forget what it's called. It's called the Godzilla or the Gorilla or the something, and it's massive. And the garage bag, maybe, I don't know. But Zool'sBagco.com, the absolute largest gear bag known to man, available on there.
And then from beginners to seasoned vets, race teams, project builds, and magazine tests, Decal Works' mission is to cater to those who love to ride, upholding the true definition of quality, service, and knowledge. Visit decalmx.com and use promo code PulpMX25 to get 20% off your custom graphics. And of course, ASV. I love the ASV guys. ASV Inventions, innovating motocross components and tools for 25 years, made in Southern California since the year 2000. Steve, the year I graduated. A pioneer in innovation.
The year I took Kelly Smith to the first ever win for KTM in America.
Yeah, you have nothing. National. You have nothing in their on their, or do they have his win in the big trophy case at the front?
Yeah, so apparently I saw Kelly Smith in Indianapolis on track walk. He still looks the same, looks like he could, looks in great shape, everything else. It's great to see Kelly. He told me they gave him like an engraved rock years ago to be like, thank you for the win. They have the national win on there, and then something else he did for KTM, maybe the four-stroke win, East Coast four-stroke nationals, whatever that thing is. But anyways, so he's got something. But hey, Ian, Raj, Selvaraj, Pitt, Robert Jonas, if you're listening, if you're watching, the mechanic was the real hero that day in the mud in 2000.
Especially on a mud day, especially in those early days. Without a great mechanic, that wasn't happening, Steve.
Thank you.
I got your back on that. I'll let them know. Back to ASV, though. ASV backs every high-quality American-made part with the industry's best customer service and warranty. ASV products are tested and used by top AMA Pro racers and teams in Supercross and Motocross. Ask for ASV at your local shop or visit asvinventions.com and use the code PULPMX in all caps for 20% off.
All right, perfect. Thanks to Bob and everybody at ASV. Really good stuff. I put the front brake lever on the Blue Crew, and I like it. It's the Pro lever, so it's a little skinnier, a little more like sharp than the stock lever, and I really like it. I like the way it feels and the way it's progressive. So thank you to ASV. All right, Daniel, next topic. If you were in charge of Triumph and you were in charge of the Orange Brigade for a while, so this could kind of apply to you. From what I hear, Triumph is just going to move Jordan Smith to the 450 and run that and work out the issues, if there's are any, in a 450, and then maybe go swinging in 2027 for a big guy and be the star of their Triumph 450 program. Would you do that, Daniel? Do you think putting Jordan up and getting 7 to 10, 7 to 12 range in results and learning the bike? Would you do that, or would you just, they have the money. Would you take a swing for Eli Tomac, Barsha, any of those guys that we've talked about on this show whose contracts are up?
I would take a swing at an Eli Tomac if there was the financial ability to. If I wouldn't go and break the bank and ruin everything I'm working towards for it, because Eli is where he's at in his career and it'd be a heavy gamble. But if someone like him was actually interested in knocking on the door, I would definitely take a look at it, because you'd be getting a lot of eyeballs, and it would be a great way to find out what you have. And that doesn't mean it's going to go perfect, but I would definitely look at it. I don't know if I like the Jordan move up, though, mainly because Jordan, to me, is a race winner. in the 250s, and he's going to win probably a couple of heat races. He's going to be on the podium 3 or 4 times a year. I mean, he hasn't been able to get that thing over the finish line for a championship, but he's still a championship level guy. And RJ Hampshire proved that when you can put it all together in your older years, you can win it. Max Anstey was, right there knocking on the door for it as well. Christian Craig. We've talked about these older guys that have won it. So Jordan's almost too good for me to do that. I mean, I like the idea on the surface, which is, you take a seasoned guy like him and learn the bike a little bit, but man, like he's too good on a 250. So I probably would be looking at something a little bit different. I'd be looking for somebody more in your Colt Nichols range. So I don't ruin what I have with Jordan, and maybe I don't break the bank on an Eli unless it's a realistic possibility. And I'm talking like realistic as in not damaging the whole program because you take every dollar you have at it. But I'd probably search more in the middle. I mean, I'd go after a Colt Nichols or a Mitchell Oldenburg or someone like that that's got experience that can really relay what this bike is, what we have here. I'd pay him a decent amount of money to do it because those guys are looking for a decent amount of money. You don't have to break the bank, but Jordan's too good. I don't know. I don't get that all the way. If Jordan was maybe off the pace to where he's not a podium guy and he wasn't winning races this year, and at one point knocking on the door for a title, Steve, I don't know why I would do that with Jordan. He's still too good. So would sign. I'd go after Colt Nichols or Mitchell Oldenburg. Like that's what I would literally do. Like right now, I'd have him on the phone.
You can't go after Oldenburg because he doesn't want to ride outdoors and isn't that good outdoors. But I'll give you a name.
Then go after an outdoor. Go get an outdoor guy to do the outdoor part. Glenn Koldenoff or someone like that. I'd go get a guy from over there. I split it. You don't have to go and put together an entire 31 in that class. I know we have 31, and that's a thing. You don't have to. So Mitchell indoors and Glenn Koldenoff outdoors.
The problem with that, and these teams have done this before. JGR done it. The bike and the equipment demands for 2 riders to ride 2 series is too much, right? Because they're overlapping. They need parts. They need testing. It's like having a whole other guy. So I like that idea on paper, DB. It just hasn't worked out for these teams from what they say. But geez, Kellen, did you get the Koldenhoff drop there? Like, where the hell did Blair pull Koldenhoff out of?
I don't know, man. He's got some good little nuggets in there every once in a while. Pull him out of it.
Wow!
If you had said to me,
hey, hold up, every once in a while.
I mean,
Kevin.
I didn't expect
Little
the GP
nuggets?
drop. I mean, come on now.
Oh,
I mean, if you just don't go and sign Valentin Guillaume, I just don't know what Triumph's doing.
How about Lindenberger or whatever you called him last week? What's that guy? That guy.
Kellen cut that out. I know he did. I know he would never leave that
No,
in.
he left it in there. He did.
I know he never would have left that in. There's no way my guy Kellen would do that to me. Hey, also something to talk about when it comes to Canadian Nationals are going to kick off here with our guy Phil in about a month.
Yeah.
Well, actually, wait, no, June. So a couple months. But and this is again goes into your wheelhouse a little bit as Orange Brigade guy. I'm a little disappointed from what I gather from talking to my Canadian sources, and you can guess who they are. One guy's drunk all the time. One guy's just dumb. There's going to be no U.S. amateurs really doing that route again. We saw Tiger Wood ride it all weekend, all year for the GDR guys. Drew did it. The Fowler kid came up. There's one other one I'm forgetting. And I know that the Canadian teams were talking to the OEMs, Ryan Holiday and maybe you and now Nathan and whatever, to try to get funding for that. And so I heard from somebody in the South down here in the U.S., they're like, yeah, we like it. It's a good idea. But these teams, they want us to pay for it. And we're like, well, why would we pay for it? It's your series, your team. And then I hear from the Canadian guys like, hey, it's great learning and great way to do real motos against real men and learn a lot. So you should pay for it. But in the end, Daniel, I don't think it's happening. I don't think that little momentum, that little thing that we had last year with all the U.S. amateurs racing Canadian Nationals, I don't think that they're able to capitalize that and make it happen again. And it's a real shame. Again, I don't know who should pay for it all. I don't really know all the ins and outs. And I can see both sides having a legitimate complaint or let's say a legitimate reason why the other side should pay to do this. But no matter what, it's not happening again. And I think that's too bad.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I think it takes a little bit of creativity and maybe a couple extra phone calls to get the funding. Maybe you split it. At the end of the day, I think it would make the Canadian series better. I think at the end of the day, it would make the American riders better. I do think Ryder Malinowski may be going up there. He's the kid that was winning. He's
Canadian anyways.
He's got some Canadian roots, I believe, but he's not all the way. Is he? Is he kind of?
Yeah, I think he's Canadian.
Is he all the way? I thought he was.
Yeah, Saskatchewan.
Okay, I thought maybe I was thinking he was
Okay.
50. Anyway, but anyways, he's American based, rides for club. Almost won the Futures main event there, and I believe he may be going up there, which would be great for him. He's
Okay.
the
Hold
exact
on a second.
example.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let's put a pause on this Canadian thing. What the hell went on with that futures race, Daniel, with those guys?
Nobody wanted to win. There must have been like some secret rule in the rule book that says if you win, you have to go race Seattle next weekend. And they're like, oh hell no, I'm out. And they all were out.
That poor Russian kid, like he's got to be on suicide watch.
Which one?
The Russian kid. He should have had Daytona and the other one won. Yeah.
Oh man, he did. He had that one. And then my guy Gibson, he had it early. And then Malinowski had it late, and and then Enzo Timmerman just walks on in there with a nice victory, which is well earned. That kid, he's a great kid, and he's been through a lot, and it's good to see him getting it back together with 2-2-1 scores this year. So good job on Enzo Timmerman. But
okay, back to the Canadian thing. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the holdup is, but it should be happening. I mean, it's an unbelievable move for these kids. These kids that are in the A class in the U.S. that are not pros yet, but are getting pro experience with combines. You know, there's another combine this year. They added a third one. Hangtown's going to have a combine. So there's 5 futures races, 3 combines. That's great, but there's a rest of the year that they could be getting more than even that. I know a lot of these kids went and did some arena cross this year. That's great. Landon Gordon went and did some arena cross. I don't think that hurt him on his way to winning the first 2 futures rounds of the year. My kid Clark Robbins did some. He was great this weekend too, probably due to some race experience and racecraft he got. That's wintertime. In the summer, they should be racing the Canadian Nationals. They're especially the East ones. They're right up over the board. It's not like they're way up there in areas that I think even inhabited, but right across the freaking border is great racing and good tracks, dude. Those are sick tracks it's not like some joke series with joke tracks. It's good tracks and good racing and good competition. So I don't know why. I can tell you that if I was still in the role I would have been finding the funds, negotiating, navigating, trading, whatever I had to do to get Luke Fowler up there again, because it was good for him last year. And I'm with you. I can't sit here and say I have the reason why, but damn, like that, it had some legs last year, and it should be a normal thing. These A kids should be up there for at least 3, 4, whatever. It helped Drew. It helped Drew Adams last year.
For sure.
Unbelievably helped him. And why would you see a blueprint that works and then go, I don't know. Like, do it again. Rinse and repeat. It freaking works. So there's my rant for the day, because I agree with you. 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's a good series up there for them. Perfect.
I thought we'd see 1 or 2 kids jumping off to even like Drew raced for the PR guys, PRMX guys, and he wore different gear and he was off to the side. He wasn't part of the team, but
Well, that's what Fowler did. Fowler did too.
Yeah.
He was, the KTM boys took care of him on the side. They didn't take care of him, but he was under their watch.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Right.
It's perfect.
Yeah, so I don't know, like figure it out. Give them bikes and parts if you're Ryan Holiday or Daniel Sanai or whoever. Make it happen.
Or some cash. I mean, raise some money, call a sponsor too, raise 5 to 10 grand and put it in the kid's bank account and say, go up there and race these things. Boom. These kids aren't that desperate, or they're not desperate. They would do it. They just need a little bit of help. They're not like, I need this to do it. They'll go up there in their van. These kids drive around in vans, man. These rad A kids are in vans. Give them some cash, send them up there, help them with some of the border stuff, because that's new to maybe some of them, but very easily done. Very easily done. And I'm disappointed to hear you saying what you're saying.
A couple more topics here on the TLD Race Tech Blair Matthes project. Email us using the contact form on Pulp if you want a code to save with TLD. And tell them you listen to this show on Race Tech. They'll give you a discount as well. Get your bike dialed in. Kellen, you're coming off plus 30 vet 2-stroke domination C-class at Phoenix. And, I mean, maybe some Race Tech suspension will take you to B-class.
Well, I was using Race Tech suspension when I won, so...
okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so even better.
Yeah.
Floating.
So
Kellen Brower on pillows out there.
Exactly.
Okay, so just thanks to the folks at Race Tech and TLD and everything they do. Daniel, a couple more topics here. Amateur contracts. So I kind of was talking to somebody this week about it. And look, the Jet Reynolds, Adam Seen Cirillo, those things, I think those kids are getting 6 figures a year back in the day. They're getting their bikes to sell. they're, the 6 figures is kind of hidden in expenses, quote unquote. And then they're getting bikes that they can sell at the end of the year. And, they're sort of contracted to do 4 or 5 races, and the money's just nuts. Well, I was kind of talking to somebody about some of the kids that have switched recently, and I was told, and I don't know this, but I was told by someone that would know, that these contracts are way down from what they used to be, the commitment wise, the money wise, the bikes and parts that you get, etc. Can you confirm this? Is this person I was talking to right?
Oh yeah, I can confirm. I mean, I was writing up those contracts for a couple of years, and I mean, there's market demand based on what the market demands. And I can tell you, we've talked about it on here. One of the reasons why I lost Cole Davies is because it flipped the other way. Now, I mean, he was given a very healthy offer that the market wasn't probably ready for. At least we weren't ready for it, especially in that time. So, no, I think it does go in waves, though. And I think what happens, I believe, is that you may have a kid or two that gets that big money, high money offer or whatever. And then when those things don't necessarily pan out all the way, I think it scares everybody a little bit. And all of a sudden, no one wants to spend anything. But it comes back. I mean, I can tell you there's a couple kids right now in the amateurs that are coming up that if they continue to do what they're doing right now, it's probably going to come back. There's going to be kids on 85s probably here soon where it's going to get aggressive again because there's some like flashing lights coming in the amateur class. But right now, as it sits, everybody's a little afraid to spend that kind of money. And again, even Cole Davies, I mean, I can tell you what he got from us. He got 3 bikes. He got a couple grand in parts credit, and he was able to use our engine and suspension package. And that was it. There was no expenses on his travel. There was nothing. I mean, it was literally his contract.
I wonder why you lost the kid. Jesus.
Well, hold up. Let's be honest. That's called incredible foresight on my part to give the kid a 50 riders contract and go win the Futures Championship. Just saying. Yeah, that's called great maneuvering on my part. But no, that's where the market was for a kid like him who maybe had some potential but didn't have the resume and the demand from everybody to outbid whatever. And then, of course, he wins, and Star did what they did. They went in and went more old school and went and said, all right, let's throw it at him. And they got it because he was more of a proven commodity at that point. He wasn't really a risk anymore. He had already kind of gone through the risk part. But no, that's where the market is right now. It's a lot smaller. You're not seeing the big money salary kids. You're not seeing that at the moment. And also, I will say, I believe it's because there's a lot of variation in the results right now. There isn't really an atom that's just win, 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 win. It's all over the place because there's so many good kids. And when the competition is that deep, it brings the value down in the individual who may be getting paid. But when you have an AC or a Jet Reynolds who won 10 straight Loretta titles, I mean, it's just, he's dominating. I mean, he's a singular piece in the puzzle, where right now the puzzle board is scattered all over. There's so much talent and it changes every 6 months. So it's a good time right now to be a manufacturer and sign these kids because none of them have enough value to demand it. But that doesn't mean it won't come back because it does go in highs and lows. So I know a couple kids right now that are going to have some crazy demand here pretty soon. They're pretty unique in that way. But at the moment, no, again, like I said, we won a Supercross Futures Championship with a kid who, I mean, the totality of his contract probably was under $30,000 investment on our part total. And,
I mean, I guess I wasn't thinking of Davies, but I looked at more like that was a graduation to pro deal. I'm talking about
it was.
Yeah, I'm talking about a Vince Way or kids who just are amateurs now and staying amateurs and all of that. Yeah,
here's why. Because I'll give you some names: Vincent Way, Seth Dennis, Landon Gibson, Caden Dudney, Brennan Harrison, Deacon Deno, Carson Wood.
What about the Zing kid?
Aiden Zing, throw his name in there. All these kids are, I wouldn't say they're interchangeable because there is a pecking order. I mean, if you look, I feel like I have a pretty good eye. I kind of know where the pecking order lies, but because they're all so good and it's all so like a little uncertain, you would never throw that heavy an investment behind one individually because it's 6 months. The 5th place one might whoop the other 4's ass. And it's happening in a constant calendar rotation, which destroys their value. And makes things a little easier on the manufacturers at the moment. It's so competitive, and it helps the manufacturers.
Okay, all right, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because some of those deals, like I said, the Reynolds and the Adams, and for reasons you explained, they're just nuts.
But they were nuts.
Yep.
They were nuts, man. they were off the charts, like flashing light, like
$100,000 a year. Like I heard some of these things were like $100,000 a year. Just thanks, man.
I don't know the details of Jet Reynolds' deal, but let's just say that was a healthy contract for a kid. It was very healthy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, did it pan out? No, he had some injuries and it really ruined that part. But was it worth it then? Maybe. He won 10 straight Loretta titles. He won 5 years in a row, both classes. That's maybe worth it. Maybe that's worth it at the time.
My comeback to this, and Pulp Show listeners have heard this. Who's buying shit because Jet Reynolds wins? Who's buying anything? Who's like, oh my God, I gotta get Jet Reynolds' gear or Jet Reynolds' sprocket choice or whatever, Like that's the part where I'm like, how do you
I don't know on the
justify this?
manufacturer side. I feel like there's other variables that would contribute there, but I could see the gear part. I mean, the younger kids want to wear what the older kids are wearing, so I could see the gear side, the goggle side. I could see some of that, but on the manufacturers, like I don't care if this brand wins every single race 100 in a row if I can get a better deal at the dealership on this bike and it also has great reviews. Like I don't care. And so I don't know what really sells bikes. I think the quality of the bike sells the bikes, but still they have these budgets and they spend the money if they want the kid and they can market them. I wasn't on that side of things. Again, I had a budget to play with and I just played with the budget and made moves based on that and went and signed the kids that fit. And that was how we did it. But that was also a 2-year window. So I never lived in those times, Steve, where I had a Jet Reynolds or an AC. We didn't have any of that.
No, I saw you in the table of contents in motocross action on a P-dub. So you did live in those times.
Hey, that was my very first race ever. First gate drop of my life.
Crazy.
And I got
does Kellen know about this? Kellen, do you know this? Have you ever seen this?
What is it? Sorry.
It's like from MXA 1992 or 1987. Okay, like I said, it's the table of contents is a massive photo of Daniel Blair on a P-dub.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. Hey, how about this? You want to?
What issue, Daniel? Who's on the cover of that issue? I'll dig it up.
I think Wardy.
In what year?
Ford. I believe 87. It would have been like a May or June or something of 87, I believe.
Okay, I'm gonna dig this up. Hold on.
Yeah. I believe. And then I'll add something cool to it. He's so serious.
Turn his camera off and it's throwing us all for a loop here.
Yeah, we'll just talk. It's fine. Here's the cool part, Kellen. It said on this thing, like as a little joke, like future world champion, like kind of like, how cute. Look at this little guy falling over everywhere. And the cool part is 3 years later, I actually won that championship, the 57-8 at the World Minis. So motocross action, they got that right. I won a 50 championship. So not only do I have an arena cross title.
Where was this race out? Where was this?
The World Minis in Vegas.
Okay, oh yeah. That's your first gate drop ever, World Minis. First
time the gate drop. Yep. And I got last place, I think, in every single moto. I fell down in every corner. I was like 5. I was really little. And then I became a world champion, Kellen. A world 50 champion.
That's insane.
Yeah. Cool title, right? But yeah,
do you have
he
that?
Left.
I was gonna say, do you have that magazine like hung up somewhere?
I know I have it in a box. I do have it. Yeah, there it is. He's back. You got to say something, I think, to get on screen, or maybe you're...
Look at that.
Well, you guys
look at that.
Hold on, I gotta get you on screen, Steve. There we go.
Okay,
go.
Look at that. MXA table of contents. Daniel Blair,
number 92, the OG. That's right, AC.
Phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal. That he's in a whole. It's a massive page. Look at it. Daniel Blair.
Look at it. Both,
right, Daniel.
Both feet out, because I was falling over.
You were wrong about the year. It was 88, not 87, but
okay.
It was Wardy on the cover.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Wardy on the cover. Anyways, okay. All right. Last thing. Congratulations on that, Daniel. If that was me, I'd have that framed.
Can you send me that one, please? Because mine's in a box somewhere. But
okay. Last thing before we do our fantasy picks, Justin Brayton and Adam Cirillo have launched a podcast. That's what the world needs in the moto world. We need another podcast. There's not quite enough. Listen, it's fine. You and I, these are buddies of ours. They're great dudes. They're going to put our good podcast on. But I mean, I told both of them separately. Like, I'm like, hey, that's awesome. But like, you guys got to be real. You got to be real, because
I said that
the conversations we have in the press box or on text aren't always the conversations that these two guys come out with. Now, look, they're both classier than us. They got maybe more to lose than us, but it can be a great show. I would just give the same advice that I would to anybody and just tell us what you really think.
They both get more RDL time than us. Just throwing that out there. I'm with you. They have to be real, and they need to share things that no one knows. I love their analysis. I think they're both great at that, but we get that on Saturday days from them. So yeah, a little bit of back and forth here and there on some analysis, but what I want to hear is Adam's stories. I want to hear Justin's stories because they are the most polar opposite people when it comes to their history and their resume. And I mean, Adam is an amateur phenom, one of the best of all time. And JB, well, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but he wanted to be a bull rider when he was young, and he was late to the party on racing amateurs and everything. So I want to hear them tell their stories. That's what would make me want to tune into that. But if it's just pure analysis, like, dude, there's a lot of that out there. So, but they're both really smart, and I feel like smart people do smart things. So I would guess it's going to end up being pretty good, and I'll be tuning in for sure. And I love those guys. Again, I think you like them too. So, but yeah, tell us some things that we don't know, because that's where the intrigue would be when we already have you on Saturday for 3.5 hours with analysis. Tell us some stuff about you that I don't know. Like, again, Justin Brayton wanted to be a bull rider when he was a kid. Tell that story.
Any truth to Kellen working for them also? Any truth to that?
No, Steve, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
So it's
a joke that Big Lou and I have with Keller. He's very busy. He went from a one-stop shop to many shops, Kellen Brower.
He is seeked.
I was never really one-stop shop, but that's okay.
All right. Listen. Fantasy, we're back. It's fucking unbelievable what I am doing, what I am capable of, how good I am. It's amazing. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So we pick the results again every week. Last week, Birmingham, Aaron Plessinger. I said he would get 5th. He got 3rd. I was 2 off. Kyle Chisholm, I said he would get 16th. He got 16th. For 0. Carson Mumford, I said 10th. He got 11th, even with a DNF. He's okay, though, I guess. So I was off by 3 for 3 riders. Daniel, you did not bad either. Daniel, you're good also. Justin Cooper, you said 5th. He would get 6th. Colt Nichols, you said 12th. He got 18th, so that's a 6 off. That's not the greatest.
Never mind, Triumph. Never mind, Triumph. Don't call Colt. Never mind.
And Max Voland, you said 8th. He got 6th. And Kellen's very happy about that. So you were 9 off of the predicted finishes. And after 10 rounds of Supercross, 11 rounds? 10? 11?
11.
I'm plus 85. You're plus 119. So I've got a nice little lead on you. And I can't believe how good I'm at this game. I told Pookie about it, maybe thinking that she'd be impressed. She's not. Didn't matter. I'm not going to get any extra loving because of this. She doesn't seem to care, but I was showing her, like, can you believe this? Can you believe how good I am? Now, having said that, I'm probably going to jinx myself here, Kellen.
Love it, because it's a mutter. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Time to come.
I'm either getting Race Tech, DMB.
I'm either getting blown out of this thing and this championship's over due to this week, or I am back in it after this week. There's no way it's in the middle. So let's go, Kellen. Let's go.
I feel like this could be the real either lockdown or tide turning moment of this championship fight between you two. So let's get into these picks. I'm going to lead off with DB this week. Everyone's talking about this guy or AP. I want you to tell me where Justin Barcia could finish in the mud this weekend.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. He's not on fire enough for me to go for a win because he's a win potential guy in this. But the way he's riding right now, we'll put him 4th.
4th for him. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, a lot of people worried about how Juju is going to do in the mud. What do you think?
Let's go with 3rd. He won a moto at Loretta's last year in the mud, or not last year, 2 years ago, in the mud. And he also used to race jet skis, so he likes water. So we'll go 3rd for Juju.
All righty. And then lastly, we'll go down the order in 250 West a little bit. Hunter Yoder.
Oh, man. Now we're iffy. He's shorter, statured human. He's a SoCal desert guy. Oh, no, but he's riding good this year. He's on a Cowie. That plays a role. I'm not going to say which way, but oh, damn it. 12th.
All right. Fair enough.
I like those picks. I would push back on the Barcia one a little bit, but other than that, yeah.
All right, Steve, for you, Jason Anderson had a horrible Birmingham. Does he rebound this week, or we got more problems?
Yeah.
Yes, he does if you call a fifth a rebound.
Okay. Well, I mean, he was 7th at Birmingham. Not too bad in the end. How about Michael Moseman in the mud?
Yeah. We're ranging
God
it up.
damn you, Kellen, you fraud.
Yeah.
You literally give me the rider with the biggest window ever, and then you add in mud race.
1 to 22.
Yeah, pretty much. Moseman, he came out of Seattle last year, remember? Set a good time, and then oops, ate shit in the mud. 12th.
12th for Moseman.
Let's go, Mosey. Podium. Let's go.
And then
We need
lastly,
a good Mosey ride.
I don't think I've heard you guys even talk about this gentleman this year, Gavin Towers.
Yeah, Gavin Towers. Screw you again, Kellen, for this. Why did you give me? Don't we go 250s and one? Don't we go 2 450s and 1 250?
No, I change it up every week. It's different. We did one week where it was only 250 East when they were kicking off, I think.
You're a fraud. Gavin Towers. God damn, he might not even make the main, Kellen.
He made the showdown.
He did. He's only, I think, missed one main all year. So that's, to be fair, I don't think, generally he's a main event guy, but 16.
Okay. Good deal.
Let's go, Gavin. Get us our first top 10. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't like my picks here, but if I pull this off, everybody, pull this off, just know.
I may DNS the rest of them. If I go down 50 points, I'm probably going to pull out for the season and get ready for outdoors.
TLD Race Tech Zools, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, all on board with us. That's been another week of this show. Hope you people like it, man. I try to do something different than pulp. I don't want to regurgitate my pulp takes or the review takes and with DB. So if you have some ideas, leave them in the YouTube comments about things you want us to talk about or things you want us to see. But we're trying to make it different. We're trying to, get some different takes and different conversations and things like that on this show. So hopefully you guys have been liking it. Thank you for the subscriptions and the words and everything else. Nice to hear from you people. And thanks to the sponsors. Use the codes and save with that. Thanks to Kellen Brower for all his work behind the scenes. And Daniel, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And we will see you another week, right?
Yes, sir. See you next week.